I wanted to give a perspective about the overall entire picture of the design. Right. So welcome everyone. Good morning, and I'm Samir Chavan. A lot of my team members are here. Can you just raise your hands? All right. So there are many people in design now. So it's growing up. So just for my understanding, how many PMs are here? I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Good. And development side? Okay. QA? Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay. Initially, we thought we'll have small, but the team is, the audience is growing. Is good actually. It's kind of an excitement to see all. So what do you see on the both sides are my own creations from my design school. It's like 20-year-old, but still lasting. Those are hand sketches at the product design. I myself is a industrial designer. You must have seen my profile if you are read in that content. I'm a hardcore passionate product designer. Okay? And there are a lot of product designers into software world, including the Apple, who are doing great software product design. Okay. Yeah. So this is how I've structured the talk today, is to give a brief idea about the introduction to the design world, the different types of disciplines. There are many software design, user-centered design processes, and then we have a lot of thinking processes. And a lot of you know all this, some of those already, like analytical and creative visual. So we'll go around that. And at any time you feel have any question, just raise your hand. We want to just have an interactive session. Okay. Make sense? All right, great. All right, so whenever we start design, what things come to your mind is the beautiful nature, right? The all natural things, the God-made things, they are beautiful. They gel with each other. They are aesthetically correct. They are functionally relevant, and it just works with each other. The entire ecosystem. So whatever you see in the world is perfectly designed. I wish we all were designers like God, perfect system and aesthetic, and everything. So even small objects, flowers, butterflies, they look all beautiful, and they have all the functional reasons also why they are like that. They're trying to camouflage. They're trying to attract. So it's trying to do a visceral design which is trying to attract to each other, and it looks all generally beautiful. But as humans have populated all the earth, we have all destroyed it. We have introduced all man-made objects into this ecosystem, which does not fit and gel properly. And then we have conflicts in between there. This is what we have created. This is my picture from Simla. The entire ecosystem is unplanned, haphazard, and then we start hating things. It doesn't digest to us. We could have designed this in a better way, getting inspiration from the nature itself. But sometimes things just go on its own. It evolves on its own, typically in India, right? So even we are sitting here, all objects are man-made objects. Somebody designed this chair. It is not did not thought about this environment, whether this will fit into this design. There is going to be harmonious ecosystem here. Somebody did it in different way. Somebody did those standees, these machines. And then we brought this all together and said, okay, now this all makes a sense, and does it gel with each other or not? So we did not give that time. So they are done in isolation, all these things, right? It's not end-to-end ecosystem design. Okay, so this is one question, and I have a chocolate. Everyone knows this word, right? Design. We talk every day. Design. So can anybody tell me what is exactly design? That fits a need. Need for what? Somebody is created. Any other? Okay. Model for, like, design, like it's all human made, okay? So you're saying that a kind of a model, framework. Okay, you get one chocolate. Good. Anyone else? Yeah. Mm. You are arriving at the solution. You're thinking of a solution, not a problem. Anything else? Simple to use is one aspect. Yeah, I'll give you one more. I have a lot of enticing things for you guys to be attentive.
Design is your thought process made visual.
Okay.
So that you can.
So it's a process, construct, to build some objects or systems. Simply saying, it's a drawing or function like that. Right? In a very simple way. So, but it's not so simple as it looks like in 2 lines. This is all design. So there is a section of craft design, which everyone knows, and this is typically everyone trying to relate. Somebody says, I'm a designer, he thinks, oh, he painter, he makes a number plates. Okay. Oh, he's a designer, he's a kind of pottery person, he does a pottery. No, but then design is into different fields. Traditionally, it started as a craft. This is from Picasso. This is my own beer mug. I did it, I baked it in the terracotta. You see, here's this size. So a lot of objects you are going to see here is actually created by me and some of my team members. And it also relates to actually the origin of industrial design side. And then we will come to the software side. Industrial design, you see all these things we are using it. They are all done by designers. And then we comes to the HCI, human-computer interaction. This is, everyone recognize this, right? This picture? SBG at least, right? I don't know if CTG and PCG ever seen that. Okay. But then you know this Tom Cruise. This is the future which we have seen in Sasan's video, where he talks about a natural conversation with the machine. And then it's a machine learning that the system understands what and it makes a semantic sense out of it and answers it properly. Right. Because everything is designed from a traditional craft. This is the 80s, 70s, and even now. And this is the future, that everything is getting digital. Right? Any other aspects which I missed? Jewelry design is also there anyway, so I have not put the jewelry. It's very complex. The sari pattern design, I think no woman is satisfied with whatever designer has done that. You have to change that sari, you know. If I go with my wife, I don't know, I just say, like, pick one of these, all look same to me. But imagine that the pattern designer, he must have thought of the spiral forms and natural inspirations, the leaves and all those things, he's putting that together. Right? So who is the designer? We are going to eliminate him, okay? Hope so. Designer as against to an artist, like M.F. Hussain is an artist. He paints because he likes it. He does not know who is going to buy it. Right? But a designer in the sense of an industrial design or a software product design, he does something that is required and used by others, not for himself. He may not like it himself, but because all the audience give the feedback, he has to design for that, to remove out of his biasness. Okay? He's both technician and artist. So we always debate, is this designer an artisan, or does he have any background in engineering, or is like just kind of an art background? All that. It's a mix. There's no clear answer. It's art and science both mixed up. Okay. So it also plans things for manufacturing, like in industrial design, as opposed to software design. You also need to think about, if you have to build a car, even if you make a car, what is the functionality, how it's going to bend, whether I worked in a automotive industry. So die making, the curvatures, whether die will accept it or it's a cracks, whether there will be wrinkles to the panel, heat transfer. There are hundreds of dimensions to that. And the cost of mistake is very high as compared to software, right? We can delete the line and write a line and release a patch and it's done. But you cannot do then industrial product design that we will release a third tire later, just ship it with 2 tires or 3 tires, what is coming up.
But what if the software goes into spacecraft or railway signaling or aircraft?
Yeah.
The cost of mistake is
very high, true, yeah. But for a software company to come out with that is not much high cost. The people who are suffering, they will have a high cost. In industrial, If Mahindra make a mistake, they have to break that die, create a new, and crores of rupees they have to spend it because somebody made a mistake. He miscalculated it. Okay. It's mostly developed by things required by others with constraints and ultimately used by others. Okay. Um, Code, don't get offended. Should be passionate. It's not visible. Uh, it's an analogy, and you can see that on Google search. If you do it, a lot of these analogies between designers, coders, developers, testers, you'll find a lot of this kind of infographics there. Design as a perception. This is what I've seen in many companies, but we are a design-driven company, so I'm assuming everyone accepts and knows that this is wrong. It's not a cosmetic makeover. Like it's not a last minute. It's not. It's not considered. It's not very important. Like somebody is going to do a visual skin out of it. Or somebody, one person in my team knows make some sketches. So he's our designer. Let him do it. He'll create some icons and color scheme. A lot of times earlier software companies or startups, they had these things, you didn't have much of funding to have specialized people within their teams. So somebody used to take that role and had. If you have the skill set, you can do it. It is highly functional, user-centric. It has been used at every stage of the product. Design is not that you have everything has been done at the last, okay, how do I do a packaging out of it and make it beautiful? It's not that. It's at every stage. It drives the business. It can make and break with the business. It's not done in the right way. And it needs skill, trained. And we have design education now in India. When I did, there was no software HCI courses in India. I did my master's in industrial design from IIT Bombay. I'm a mechanical engineering background. At that time, there was no user experience, software experience design courses in India available. They were there in US. Slowly it started. Even I was a part of curriculum designs at IITs to find out what kind of chapters and content we should involve into that. But now you can get master's courses. We have people who have done a master's courses in our team from NID, from IDC. There is also a PhD available. If anybody is interested in doing a PhD in this course, as a designer, you can do it. I think precondition is to be at least have a graduation in engineering or maybe architecture or a solid foundation. Right? Everybody knew about this, that design courses are available in India?
Yeah.
NID is there, IDC is there. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people getting inspired and a lot of developers or even product managers, they move into this field they take it as a passion and they've changed the field. And I've seen vice versa, like designers becoming product managers too. So what is the design? It's improving about the human life. Everyone knows this. And whenever we think about design, we talk of a lot Apple product, right? Which not only looks beautiful, it's connected, the ecosystem is right. Whenever you open the product, it starts like an experience about how it is being packaged. The time you switch it on, it gives a excitement. It works seamlessly. So things are okay. This is my own sketch. I'll keep telling you wherever our ideas are there. Okay. Right? This is correct, right? All frustrations we have on all our products is because somebody has done a good design or maybe bad design. You must have seen a lot of examples. This is one example. I took it. I had a Videocon remote. There was a frequency button before the volume button here placed. I used to change the frequency and the TV used to go off. And somebody, I don't know why he thought about putting a frequency button there up front. Now we don't see that. This is a classic example. We have that in front of our door here also. Right? If it's a push, there should not be this pull handle. The affordance of the product should tell you what to do, not to write what to do. Right? You should look at an object and see how to use it, not an instruction manual how to use that. The more tech content and text you're putting, that means the wrong design is there. A lot of wrong design is in there. And you're trying to supplement that by giving some suggestions how to use it. Design of everyday thing. I think everyone should read this. I have a personal copy which has been signed by the author, Don Norman. He's our guru in this field. And he talks about all these simple things where wrong designs has been done, and this cannot be functional. Right, the sprout and the handle at the same side. You can't pour, or your hand will burn. So this is the wrong sense. Any other example you have seen very bad design here around? Flyover. That's a classic example. I have not understood exactly how that's going to work. Because at the center, when you're going to get down, there is no space. There is two roads in between on the both sides, right? There's no space for a person to even get down out of it. It's a, you have to see it whether. I hope they have done some user study, prototyping, tested with a couple of people, and then come out with this so much investment cost. Probably they will.
Actually, Apple turn on, but keyboard button is
Apple's turn on
button.
Mac one?
Yeah. So actually, that doesn't give you an indication of what's happening.
Apple made a bad design, you're saying. And there are a lot of people against you, okay? The moment you say Apple has done.
They moved that button into the keyboard.
Keyboard, yeah.
I would say there's a bad design because fundamentally there's a different space.
Yeah.
And the way it functions is different.
Yeah.
So earlier they used to have a
hardware button was there on the top. I had a earlier Mac.
Yeah. And there used to be a LED, small LED here.
It will tell you indication.
To you what's happening.
Oh, okay.
Is it going to a standby or is it off, something?
I agree with you. I agree with you. You criticized Apple, man. Okay. Yeah, what you said is right. What is he saying is the affordance of this objects should communicate what they are meant for. There was a physical affordance of that circular button which was die-cast or cut into the aluminum, which you had a hard feeling like, if you're really going to start or shut down the system. It's like starting a car. Like imagine you have like a small lightweight but touch panel, like you touch it and the car starts, and you touch it, it switch off. You feel like, oh, the car is such a huge thing, it's a heavy. You need to have the jerk, like the strong, like, then you feel happy about it. The car is starting. So this has been purposely designed in many places, A lot of people try to even have the traditional telephone, okay? And then if you make it lightweight, and if you pick up, the moment you see that object, you are expecting there is some light, heavy, the old ones, okay? And they tried it making it very light, and the moment it just comes. So it defies your expectation of mental model that it has to have some weight, and it just lifts up like a thermocol. Then you conflict with yourself, and then you don't like that. It needs to have a little bit weight. I should feel like I'm holding something in my hand. It feels good. Maybe it may be paining my wrist, but it's okay. I have that feeling. So it's the same, like, the affordance of this kind of a soft button is not for starting switching on and off for that. But they're doing some compromises.
Even the touchscreen audio systems and
cars,
I feel they are not well designed in the sense that if let's say
don't get a feel
so much on driving, you will actually miss and cause an accident.
Yeah, you might hit hard also on that because your steering was hard. And all the other controls are hard too, and then something is almost soft, like it's conflicting.
Yeah, not just about hard and soft, but the point that if the navigation or the audio system has like too many touch points in it, too many buttons or too many places where you can touch it, then it becomes a problem to drive.
Yeah, I agree. There are a lot of improvement, scope of improvement. But the automobile experience design has become the new field. All the companies are concentrating on that, the experience of the driver sitting, the control panels. We used to do automobile design. So I had my last course in automobile designs here. But that was still early when there was no phones. I was using Telnet as an email client. There was no email client at all. There was no web page from here. But now things have changed. It's voice activated, dashboard displays, projected displays on the screen, everything in ergonomic controls. Even the knobs, the gear shifts. I drove one car in US where the gear was in the knob shape. There are, I think, some Nissan car has that. So you switch on the gear, but I had a difficulty where to stop that. First gear. So aligning to that. Again, in automobile.
Okay. What he's talking about, I think, is sleepy design, they call it. Which means you design a product not to engage, but just scan through information and go. Like Apple Watch, if you see. While you are is in some other activity, you just scan through and you are done. Google Map, it has voice and it has navigation which has high contrast. You just scan through and go. Car dashboards again.
So like Google has a new audio format for cars now. It's becoming very popular in US now. I forgot what it is called.
The voice tones you're talking?
No. So it's I think Google Audio or something it's called. Or Google Car Audio, something like that it's called. Apple also has a similar standard. So what it means is that only specific applications which are approved for that and which are designed for in-use in car and which are not very involving for the driver, only those kind of applications will work inside. So it's also kind of an Android audio system, or Android capable audio system. But only like if I let's say use a very involved kind of an app, it is not going to work on that.
Yeah, companies have done these patterns like when to use, when not to use. But we as a designers, people can mismatch and make always bad design. Though we have design patterns even at all our intuitive products, you can wrongly interpret it and make bad design out of it. So it's up to us. How do we see whether it's doing in a right way or there is some kind of a...
Yes, for example, if you have a 2000 long phone book and your car audio shows the entire phone book, and you have to like...
Are you having a Mahindra XUV?
Does it make any sense?
I have the same one, which has the same list. Well, we'll just move on because this is a very interesting topic to discuss, I think. We come across a lot of bad designs and we want to improve it and people are not given due thought over that. Right.
Samir, I have one example which is very close to us, our elevators. It
Yeah,
shows
the
light
flickering
back
lights.
and then now it door open somewhere else.
Yeah.
You'll be waiting here.
Yeah, I've never seen in any building, but here, like, it shows that you're waiting there for a lift to come, an hour late. All of a sudden, at the last moment, it switches off and turns to the other one. So the entire crowd runs from this side to that side. Or somebody who was lucky earlier there, he says, gets the first place to stand, It's like by luck. It can be done in a better way. All right. So we talked about all design. So when do you think we started designing?
Stone Age.
Stone Age. Great. Chocolate, eh? How was it, Vijay?
Chocolate is from Stone Age.
Hey, Anshuman. Good to see you. Okay, so I have a slide from MP Rajan from NID. It talks about it started when we started the fire, from the tools we made it. We as humans have been designing a lot of years ago, ships designs, and you'll see all those kind of, the biggest invention was wheel, right? We discovered wheels or invented it. Say. And then it's come. And now today, knowledge. We started here, software, maybe around, I think not even 50, maybe 30, 40 years old, software industry. But other things are like thousands of years old. Industrial products are 200, 300 so old. And a lot of innovations happened at the time of World War that inspired. So there was a need. There was a competition between the countries to innovate. So yeah, so you must have seen the typography manuscript. The whole writing structure itself is a design. Okay, architectural temples. This is my own picture. Yeah, anybody has gone there? Hampi.
Yeah.
It's very old. People were doing these windmills ages ago. This was engineering design plus functional design and power and everything. There was, anybody seen 10 Commandments, Moses movie? You see in that movie actually he's doing a prototyping. He's on the table, they have small pyramids, and then the actual people are building the pyramids. So probably they started prototyping long time back. Even in our temple architecture, you will see in some of the temples, like Lolita was showing us, I forgot the name. They had in the south, they have some temples actually prototyped in small forms, and then you see the big temple actually being built. So the kings, they wanted to see how it's going to build. And they even used to have problems, like they did a prototype, but then the final one, the Kalash, they couldn't put that because they made it so huge. So they had some issues. So prototyping, experimenting, improving has been there for ages. Yeah.
So I don't know if you've been to this temple in Tanjore. It's called
Tanjore.
Harishwara.
and it's a ASI protected heritage site.
Okay.
It has a very unique structure given that the Gopuram does not cast a shadow on the ground at any time of the year.
Okay.
But that's not the interesting fact. The interesting fact is about 150 kilometers away, there is a site where an exact replica of that temple has been built as a
prototype. Okay,
right?
great. I should
They experimented with how they would carry the monolithic hundreds of tons stones over that. So that has mistakes, and as you can see, it's and after that was built this perfect structure.
Great example. Great. We ourselves in India, we had so many historical temple architecture is great in India. And we have been experimenting, prototyping, iterating, doing aesthetic, functional design, and it's astrological design about sun and lighting and everything. It's just not aesthetic. It's about Vastu Shastra and everything. It's a combination of so many things that's been done. Indians have been designers for ages, but we lost in between 100 years in between. We did not do anything. I don't know we have anything right now in the last 50 years to show that we built something like the temples we used to build. I know there is one bridge at Mumbai. From bridge. And one bridge at Mumbai. And which you see such bridges, hundreds of places in US, right?
Vidhana Saudha.
We should do really something different.
Actually, I have another example. I'll pose it as a question, and you can decide if you want to give a chocolate. But writing, for example, you had typography and writing, right? What is the reason why some of the Semitic languages, are written from right to left?
Oh, that's a good question. That's beyond India, I think. The question is global.
Anyone know why?
That's a good question.
Arabic or Hebrew are written, for example.
Hebrew and Arabic, all languages. I have no idea.
Something to do with the
left to right, right to left. Why some of the people, humans, in one continent started this side and others on the other side?
I guess it's a vector in
majority
vector and I'm not recalling the other one. What is it?
If you look at Asian scripts, they go up to them.
Up to them, yeah. So we have vertical, all directions. There might be some reasonings.
More left-handed people in that.
Is that
actually close? I might get a eclair.
Second chocolate. You can break.
So I recently visited Tel Aviv, right? And asked them the question, why do you guys write that way?
Yes.
Apparently, their writing originated from tablets, right?
Oh, the Moses tablet.
A lot of the Babylonian
and 10 Commandments.
And so when you chisel on a tablet, it seems easier to read what you've actually chiseled.
Okay.
Go from right to left, because many of them are right-handed, so that's why I'm not giving you a full one. So
thanks.
left-handed chiselers might have changed history, but right-handed chiselers can actually see the writing if they move right to left. But when you write on paper, manuscript, it seems easier to read when you go left to right.
Left to right.
At least that's their theory. I don't know if it's accurate.
Thanks. You Vijay, need a chocolate actually for you.
I would gladly donate it to this guy.
Okay, another one.
Thank you.
He was valiant in trying,
Great. And there's so much of interesting stuff in design. Right? We always forget. We come into the software industry. Yeah.
One more reason for the right to left would be like left to right. Is that when you're writing with writing, and most of you are like right-handed. If you write otherwise, you will wipe it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah. That's why it goes left to right.
You can share the chocolate. Okay, here I'm going to talk about
In 1920s America, the Great Depression effectively erased consumer demand. Struggling manufacturers needed new ways to get people buying again. Innovative production processes like stamping and use of molds allowed them to use new materials for their designs. Products using vinyl, chrome, aluminium and plywood began appearing. American industrial designers began introducing streamlined, efficient shapes that shouted progress. Bel Geddes pioneered what we now refer to as utilitarian art. Things that had little reason to look sleek now all of a sudden did. At the 1939 World Fair, featuring Bell Geddes' immensely popular Futurama exhibit, a new era of American industrial design proudly claimed to be building the world of tomorrow. Americans found great positivity in these futuristic forms. Yay. Things were looking up. American industrial designers realised that by making objects look great, people simply wanted them more. From cars to kitchen appliances, the most influential society on earth was spending money again. Mass consumption had arrived. Advertisers finally had lots to talk about. Personal taste could be expressed through the things you bought. Style became equally as important as function. Chair designers like Eames and Saarinen didn't just design seating, they created desirable lifestyles.
Experiences.
People behind the product suddenly were stars. Everyone wanted to know who they were. Raymond Loewy was one of the shining lights of American industrial design. His face ended up on every coffee table in the nation. Toothpaste packaging promised whiter teeth. Washing powder packaging promised whiter whites. Who knew such simple household objects would shape the tastes and ambitions of an entire society? American industrial design improved America, functionally, culturally, and intellectually, and exported it around the globe. Does American industrial design do it for you?
All right, so the idea was to show that in 30s and 40s, the entire industrial revolution was happening, and how the designers tried to recreate the experiences for the same objects. And then there was a design trend which was like aerodynamic shapes and all those. The old cars you will see like rocket shapes. All the hair dryers, the fridge, everything was like a circular, more curvatures. So it was a trend that was setting up. So a lot of times in design there are always trends and waves. Okay. So earlier you can see the Vista, XP with. Before XP was gradation. No, before XP it was like gray colors buttons. Then XP coming with gradations. Then Vista coming with aerofoil, glass effect. And then we're going towards the windows which are becoming more of a flat colorless. So I feel sometimes they are just running away from design decisions. Like everyone is making flat and black and white and just removing all the embroidery kind of. What's the word to see? Schemomorphic designs, which Apple actually pioneered earlier, and now they have removed it totally. So it's just design phases. There is nothing right and wrong in that. Maybe after like a couple of years, we might see something else, like entire interface may disappear. It's diminishing, and it might be a conversation interfaces now. Right. So design was actually taught as an education early as back to 1919. Bauhaus School of Design. So all industrial designers will know that design was taught in Germany, like Bauhaus School of Design. They made all the industrial products that time, and then also with a lot of typography, colors, and all those things. So craft. We have been hearing this craft even here in Institute everywhere, right? Craft. When you go through all your interview process, right? You must have done a craft presentation. What, you brought a pottery or what? So we did all the craft. So craft is about the skills you have and how you can, it will not be done by hands. But traditionally craft in India, you can see is like, handmade objects. There it's a skill-based expertise. Like not anybody can do it. You need to have that inherent skill or somebody must have taught you and then you can do those handicraft and craft items there. Okay. Visually appealing, it's creative, and it also tries to play around with material and the properties. So you'll see wooden crafts, clay craft, and then in our process also we can use, like I have used thermocol and plaster here as a craft presentation. All different mediums to give different shapes for that. Right. So industrial design, it used to aim at function, value, and appearance both. So it has been done hundreds of years ago, industrial design. All from automobile designs to all the machines and products. And if you look at the process, it's almost same, right? The looks, imagination, and then develop, refine, and make it. So you look at what you want to do and you design it for manufacturing plus benefit. Both manufacturer and users benefit. So we need to be manufacturable and it needs to be helpful for user. It needs to be aesthetically good, functionally viable. And now I'll add later a couple of new dimensions which have come up in recent years. But as an industrial designer, he looks at the form, functional, usability, ergonomics. It goes beyond just making, but it also goes towards marketing, brand. So as an industrial designer, you go into end-to-end solutions, not just creating a small objects and living with it. I don't have another example. I did one, my again school project where I designed for the fire rescue system. So we designed the rescue machine. We thought about how do we implement that. I went to all the Mumbai fire brigade stations. I sat on those snorkel trucks. I went on the top of the floor and actually it moves. It's very scary to stand on those fire brigade snorkel trucks. Then experiencing what it is. So it's an experience an industrial designer already does to see how the user is going to use it. Yeah. So some of my sketches again is in Piaggio, Italy. I was working with Piaggio scooters. So it's about form, it's about engineering, it's about the metaphors, it's about expression. They wanted to create scooters for India with the inspiration from a bindi and a woman. And then I was exploring ideas out of it. But they also wanted to maintain the identity, which is this what you can say, sidebar panel, which has a typical Vespa shape. So we want to maintain that. So industrial design, somebody would do research, customer insights, iterations, detailed design. You do prototyping. This is on BBC World. This is in Bajaj doing actually prototyping with industrial clay. Solidifies at room temperature. You need to heat it and then mold it. And then engineering design and all that stuff. So you do all research, concept, design, prototyping, iteration, final production. Similar phases. So I'm going to repeat that every time. Any questions? How many know that there is something called industrial design? You of course know, Angela. A lot of people are knowing that industrial design. They are getting reduced. They all are moving into software design, I don't know, including me. But there are a lot of good designers in industrial design. So all these companies, electronics, automotive, everyone has industrial designers who guides into the conceptualization of a product and then making it manufacturable. So furniture design is very old, and then it's a modern furniture where you are giving a different sense of feeling out of it. Automotive design is very glamorous. I left the field. I used to do 3D design. Now I'm in the 2D design. It was a tangible big product. Now it's a 13-inch monitor. So, but it needs a lot of thoughts from not only visual, which is a visceral design, creating conceptual ideas, and then doing a test marketing, showcasing, getting feedback from the users, marketing feedback. They do geolocation, different segmentation of users to get different perspective about what is right or wrong in that. And users don't tell you what they want, right? If you ask a user what kind of car you want, and if he cannot sketch you and tell you, this is what I want. And if you ask diverse people, like a mom, and then a sports guy, and then a father, they will have different requirements. It's like creating a software product with so wide variety of requirements. You will create some car with a back is like a truck and a front is like a Ferrari and in the center is like a van where all people can sit. You need to segment your design towards one set of population. You can't mix and match everyone and create a solution to satisfy the entire population. In our software products, we try to target the customer base, create personas, user segmentation, and design for that. If you try to address the end use cases, you will land up with something which is not useful for anyone. Fashion design, we have some person in our team. He's the guy. He has a fashion design background. So a design team in a user experience XD team has people from different backgrounds: industrial design, fashion, psychology, architectural. He's an architect. He's watching his phone. I'm a mechanical engineer. So the variety of people actually brings diverse ideas into the team, and then they can make a very good creative solution. Rather than everyone is same, like same cooks, you give ask them to make a soup, they will make the same soup, right? So because the people are same. So this is the new consumer electronics age where you have doing wearables. I am wearing a wearable. Anyone having wearable watches? Apple watches? Just to not tech savvy. Consumer. Slowly, probably this all electronics is eating up all our physical objects. Like mobile has already taken up these cameras. They no longer exist. The Sony Walkman has gone because all we are listening on the phone. So this mobile phone is consuming everything. And it has extended into wearable devices. Now it's consuming the other physical objects. They're all going away. Probably it might consume this remote and I can do a remote control from here. It has a memory. I can listen from this to the headphone or Bluetooth, 4 GB memory. Yeah. There's so many fields in design. There are motion design, sound design. We are actually even hiring transition design, I think, in Mountain View. We're looking at transitional effects, how we do it in mobile applications. So everything in the universe has a transition. It does not just come and just go. The earlier software designs when we did were like you open up a screen, when you say close, it just goes away, and another screen comes up. But there is no in-between transition. So it does not feel very natural. So we are trying to go towards natural effects. So everything has to have a transition. So it slowly goes, it will animate, it will bounce. So the material design which we talk about is an effect of a material properties, basically. When you drop thing, it will bump up, it will cast a shadow. Yeah. So people are in software getting inspired by all the physical objects and applying all those principles back here.
I think PowerPoint has transition effects for teasers now. I think it is not PowerPoint.
Yeah, that is when you want to transition the product. But when you launch the PowerPoint, Apple had those, still has this transition when it comes and goes, like a genie coming out of that. But within the product, when you click on buttons, there is no transition. It just yes or no values everywhere. But in real life, this does not happen. You see fading things, going things, door closing, just door, if you hit the handle, it does not just go like one state to another. There is a transition, it's going to open. And you will see and feel that transition. And since we did not design all these man-made objects in our product, we are lacking that. So we are trying to embed that into the software product so it makes more natural.
I talked about the tactile effect for switches and like similarly for the buttons.
Yeah, I know. I worked in Seoul in LG R&D labs, and we were experimenting. That time, Android was still not in the market, and everyone in Korea were panicked about Apple getting released. Even iPhone was not released, and we were worried like, okay, now we should put a keypad on a touch screen. How are people going to feel it? So I had a couple of engineers. I was a chief researcher there. We worked on different electrostatic charges getting simulated within the finger when you touch it. We collaborated with some companies. We saw some vibration effect. When you say the A effect is actually getting electrostatic charge on your finger. So you actually feel it. People are trying to crack it yet. It's not done. Some people are just giving it up and said, okay, you're getting used to it. If you try to move from this touchscreen to an old BlackBerry, you'll find very hard to press those buttons. You will not be able to press it. Because we have got used to this softer. The new generation kids, they are like easy to solve. If I give her the old feature phone, they don't know how to press it. Feel very bad, and it pinches your thumb. But it's still being done. The research is done. A lot of research has been done in the still laboratories. It's not come out. We experimented on speech recognition. I worked with Neon's natural language processing. But it was still in the native state. And Siri came later. And then everyone thought that, okay, it can be productionized. It can be commercialized. Earlier it was just in a laboratory. And everyone was scared to bring it up. Nobody had a daring. We know, but Nokia did all these experiments in all James Bond movies and Die Hard movies, right? But none of the product came into actual market, right? So it's about also execution. Can we execute those products properly? It's not about just designing. Everyone has ideas. But can we actually bring that to market? Can we take a daring? Can we take a call and say the hunch that okay, let's do it, right? So a lot of design fields are there. People do different graduations into different fields, go into different animations and all those things. Right. Okay. Now I have a USB for this question with our XD logo. Does anybody know like ISI mark in India, there is a design mark in India that certifies that this product is design compliant. Unfortunately, we don't have anything in software, like say somebody authority saying that, okay, this is compliant to the standards. But in physical words, we have this ISI, BSI standards, no, adhering to mechanical design. But recently, we have also created a design standard council.
There is a bureau for design or some design.
Nobody is going to have this. No, not our people. So Anand Mahindra is the chairman of the design council that is going to certify, have started already certifying industrial product as a design compliant. It's like it meets a minimum design criteria. So when you buy a product, if you see this mark I and this thing, that means it's a good product. You need not worry about it. Any hunches? No. Not seen much. Okay. All right. So India Design Mark. You can go to this site, indiadesignmark.in, and you can see the council, the application process. Not many people know, but it started already. Good design mark. I wish we had something for the software, like which says it qualifies before somebody buys some company's product. He has no idea whether somebody has certified this product as a minimum viable, design compliant, anything. But when you exchange between the two industries, there is a common usability format, SIP format is within industries. When you, it's like an acceptance criteria in software testing, that you meet a couple of these things, you say that this software is compliant to basic needs. But there are a lot of international bodies, IDSA, there are some in Denmark, a lot of European companies. All right. SDLC is your software lifecycle. Anybody has gone through this? Interesting part is it has usability part as one of the things that you should learn in your engineering computer science. Pressman's engineering book, I have it. It shows this. I read it all to find out exactly what it is teaching you. But it does tell you about usability. When you build a software product, it has follow all these things. It says it's usable. Right. From a software design cycle, so I'm coming to all these design cycles. Want to take any break? We have a tea here. You can break for like maybe 5-10 minutes. It's okay. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's a half done. Let's break it for like 5 minutes. Short break for a tea.
Anand. Thanks, man. I thought I was
Alright, hi everyone. I was thinking I was running very fast and it looks like I have more content to cover. We'll see how much it goes. If it remains, we'll cover in the next session. Right. So everyone knows about UCD, user-centered design. It used to be a very popular word in when I started into this field. Okay. In my interview, people will ask me like, "Do you know UCD?" If I answer that, means I'm hired. User-centered design. Oh, you know that. So it used to be very popular. When was it? I think around 99, 2000, around. Very popular. So, being a software industry, there are so many people who are reinventing things. Okay? Whereas in industrial mechanical field, it's settled down, like 500-year-old industry. There is a mechanical design book and everything. Things are settled, but we are still redesigning, redoing things. So people are trying to find out new processes every day. So it used to be popular. Okay, the basic ideology is same. Do a research, do a concept, create some design ideas, and then develop and test it. So UCD, user-centered design. So the idea was to keep the user in the context whenever you are designing. Don't design something in isolation without knowing your end audience or users. So go and talk to them, do some interviews, observe them, what they're doing. Because a lot of time, what people ask you and what people do is different. I can give a classic example from one of my friends who does a research here in India. For those people who are not from India, I'll explain. So we have, Nokia was highly popular in India, right? Nokia phones. Okay. And then I think Nokia, which was the other phone? Samsung's probably. Samsung's, the fancy phones were Samsung's, I think. And they did a user study and everyone said they like Nokia phones. But then when they were given a choice after the study, okay, take one phone and go home. So everyone picked the Samsung phone. It was looking something different, fancy. And then they were asked like, why Nokia was easy to use and why did not you pick up the Nokia phone? They said like, I also want a fancy, visually appealing, something that suits my personality, and I will learn things even if it's bad in Samsung. You know? Nokia may have done it, but the phones were like a brick, ugly looking things. You know? They were not. There were some weird phones like horizontal with keys on both sides. Nokia tried all kinds of weird things. And the people choose something. So you never know what people are going to choose, even if they say something. Like everyone say till the end of the result, Nokia is everything, best and everything. They liked it. But when they given an option to take a home one phone, they took another phone. Like then the relationship here was like, okay, there are some things which are more than just usability. It's more of a delightness, appealing experiences. It has to be accounted for that when you design for that. And a lot of times people say something and do something. So even if you ask everything, but they may do something different. All right. So in a UCD process, you do a lot of things. So I will not go through it. So you basically do analysis. There's a lot of elements How do you do the analysis? We do a lot of surveys here in Jude. We do follow me homes. How many people have done follow me homes? Actually gone and met customers. Okay. All right. So we are trying to build some competency here in IDC. We have a usability lab here. We're trying to get some customers, or at least QBO, and maybe some other TurboTax if they are being offloaded to India. Like, India has a lot of outsourcing companies that they do back-end work. So we might get some other users. So once we do it, we can actually do it here also. There. How many of you have seen a usability lab here? It's on this aisle. Okay, not many people have seen it. Okay, we need to market that and actually make it more functional. Functionally, we have to do it. Then people will anyway come there. So it's just lying there right now, but it's wonderfully done, high tech, very good. It's the one-way mirror, like an interrogation room. And one side users, one side is a controller and observers. We have multi TVs and everything. We're trying to figure out who set up those and how we connect actually that. There is a whiteboard, which can be a collaborative whiteboard. Digital whiteboard is there. You can write and somebody on the other side in different continent can see that. This can be dynamic collaboration. So there is a lot of scope we can do it here. Okay. This is my, again, very old analogy between what things happens in software design and what thing happens in a user-centered design. So a lot of times the question is to come when I used to hire people, like the dev manager will ask me, our developers will work entire year, but your designers may just work for 1 month, last month when we do some visual design. What they will do, why should we hire them entire year? We'll hire at the end of the year. No, we can do a lot of activities when you do something other. So you are doing the SDLC activities like concepts or business justification, we do context, we do research, we do requirements, like you're doing use case models, product scopes, we do other design research, card sorting. So a designer can be engaged in the software product lifecycle throughout the cycle. That's the essence. Right. Okay, I'll give this for usability this time. USB. What is usability? Have you used this word, usability? Have you heard? Yeah. This used to be another, like, it is popular word, right? Usability. Once I even had a title, usability engineer, when I worked in Siemens. Because the company is engineer driven, so we thought we all also have an engineer title at the end. Because they will not understand if I say experienced designer. Designers have not been understood all. So like, okay, let's usability.
Ability to use a product is a frequent manual in the right way.
What is it?
Ability to use a product in the right way without even a manual or anything. Like example, systems, parallel systems.
Okay.
It should be intuitive.
Yeah.
How engaging it is. How easy.
Okay, I cannot break this, but I'll give it to him. So usability is a measure of how usable it is, simply speaking. Is it usable or not? It's a measure. And you design for usability. That, okay, the product is easy to use. It's okay, I'll come to that part again. So this is Don Norman again, my favorite person. So this is it. It's easier to use, matching more, and if you have this matchbox with a shorthand, and then if you burn it, and you will burn your hand too, right? So you need to have a basic usability satisfied, that it is functionally working, and it can do the task which is designed for. Right. So this is usable. So in 80s, 90s, okay, all product has to be usability. That was the popular thing. But this has changed now. We are saying it has to be usable as a baseline. Over and above, what is the experience? Is it delightful? Is it emotionally connect? Is it fun, play, like, Apple product? Apple product actually does the same usability, but does it in a different way. Right.
I have a question on this.
Yeah.
If you look at cars right now, because the traffic, the max speed they will go is 360.
Yeah.
So you don't need a
correct.
proper air.
Totally agree.
In fact, you can make it more artistic in nature.
Yes. In fact, I was thinking of buying a tractor. I just bought a XUV500 3 weeks back, and I was thinking the best thing is to create a fear against me, around me. So I have a big, huge tractor in this speed because the speed is like 10 kilometers or 20, and I don't have to worry about somebody dashing me or anything. It's a perfect. perfect vehicle actually for Indian roads. Big tires, it can go to any potholes. It will last and it will not get damaged. That's how it has been designed. Rugged. Tractor is rugged. Is in a farm industry. It can go to all these muddy areas. And this is strong and durable. It can last it for many.
In the case of Nokia and Samsung, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Everybody has that aerodynamics thing, cars and all.
Yeah.
If you have a car which is more artistic and
right.
your needs, maybe you would say.
Yeah, this is how. That's the reason. If you see nowadays, all these micro SUVs are getting popular in India because of this high ground clearance, big tires, short size, and more people staying. So slowly we are moving to that. We should have done it long time back because in India we need big tires. No point of having a small tire and low ground clearance. Yeah. So usability is part of all learnability, efficiency, how memorable it is. Can you recall it? Can it be error prevention? And how satisfying it is. So this is usability. So if you say, is this usable? That means all these things. Does it satisfy all this? Is this usable? Can I remember after 5 days if I come and do I need to ask him again which button it is? Okay, no, I can remember. So it can, memorability is good. Is it efficient or not so efficient? I think I'm by mistake pressing other buttons. They're too close. There's very less gap in between these 3 buttons that I can move. I need a little bit more gap. There is no affordance that I'm having a pointer versus this thing. They're all same depressed. In fact, in some of the designs, knob design, so there is an affordance. So the knob has a pointing thing. So when you hold it, you will get a feeling that it's a different function, whereas the rest of the knobs are like a soft feel. I forgot. Okay. So experience design. So now, any chocolates? This is our team's name. XD. Did anybody know that what is XD stand for?
Experience.
Yeah, but experience has been written as X.
The interaction of the user with the software.
Okay.
So what's the question?
What is experience design? Why can't we say usability design or usability team? Why are we calling experience design?
How do you feel about this?
So it is the emotion.
When a user is actually using your product
in terms of the
whole
accessibility.
experience from the beginning to the end.
He is more close emotionally. You want to connect emotionally. The entire experience, that's the name.
Trying this for a while.
Okay. Okay, but it is in combination of all information, interaction, content, user interface. But is it emotional, playful, delightful? What is the experience when we get using a system or a product? Rather than being just saying user-centered design or usability compliant, it's more of an experience. I don't know what is going to happen after a couple of years. We might come out with new word. Okay. So it's emotionally touching. Person's entire experience end to end. That's how Apple products were like. iPod, iPhone, everything. It's the entire experience counts. Like you are into that ecosystem. It's world ecosystem, but it's in your ecosystem. Everything works perfect, and you like that. It's a same thing done in a different way. It's a more playful and joy. So this is the emotional design. So this was very popular even in Korea when I worked in LG. Everyone was talking about emotional design, emotionally connect, emotionally. It was new for me. And there was again book from Don Norman, Emotional Design. The similar example is here, like when you what is this? Somebody can tell me.
Juicer.
It's a juicer, okay? Looks like a spaceship, like a satellite, right? It's a juicer. But people started buying this, because it's emotionally connecting something. They feel like it's different. It's a functionally correct. It's a usability is satisfied. But what else can you do more than that? It's something emotionally connecting to me. Okay, this bitter, you can make it out. Beetles, this smiling face with eyes, totally connected with everyone. People are so happy to see it. It has a smiling face effect there. So it's very popular there. So it's emotionally connecting to you as a car. It's talking to you. Like car design, in our theory, we had a lot of research on the car grill. It smiles. It can be angry car. It can be smiling. It can be friendly. It can be masculine. So the car has a persona. It can tell you about what it is. The experience is all about, right, technology design and the entire. It goes beyond just designing the interface and buttons and icon. It goes towards the entire product connection, the sales, the sites, after sales, support, packaging, box, and even the depth of the product. We should design actually for, I have not have the slide here. So Peter Drucker, how many knows? All the PM should know at least. Peter Drucker is a management guru. Okay. So he relates the design into our Indian mythology of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. The design has to have a creation, a management, and a death. So we normally design it for only being acceptance or getting to sell. We slowly are doing to design for maintenance, like Vishnu. The product sustains for a longer duration, but we have not thought of how it's going to die. A lot of industrial product, you can see how it's going to die, how you have to crush the box. So you get a envelope. If there is a design how to open it, when you have to crush it, okay, you have to pack it and throw it in the box. So the death of a product, even if, so in our software terms, is somebody don't like our product and you want to uninstall. The uninstall experience is a death, right? So have we designed it for uninstalling properly? Or we leave some small files in different folders that somebody has to run a clean. No, we just leave it. We don't think about that. The entire experience is not thought through. It's just like how it's going to launch, how it's going to be used, and then nobody knows how it's going to be deleted from the system. It just lies there.
With the Facebook's, you have an option on Facebook to delete your account, but it.
Yeah, I just found out that like my wife actually deleted my Facebook or her Facebook account. Now after an year, she just thought I'll just log in and see it, and it's an active account. Facebook does not the right of destruction or right to anonymity. Facebook is not compliant to that. It maintains all your data, all the pictures, everything. Even if you delete, it says delete, but it just gets deactivated. Everything is intact.
Deactivate.
It's actually deactivate. But we wanted to actually, I think earlier it was like delete our account or something. Now they have changed it, deactivate it. But there is no way that you want to, like I want the right to forget, right? There is a European council talking about this right to forget. Like if a digital systems, they maintain this data and they store and spy with you. But there is, as a human, as a user, I want me to be forgotten from your system. And they're not providing that option there. They're storing it.
It's disturbing also because one of my friends died 3 years back, and every year I see his, birthday reminder and stuff like that. It's disturbing also.
Yeah. So yeah, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, I was talking about. So this is same analogy, like creator and maintenance and the death of a product. Peter Drucker talks about that in the system design, in product design about it. So in in experience design, you go through all these things in a software. User needs, functional design, interaction design, all kinds of designs, navigation, and then you put this is a very famous Casey James, right? We have a book. We have bought a couple of books. Some of my personal books are here. We'll get some more books if anybody is interested in it. They can get it from us. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about titles. We have seen this user researcher, interaction designer, visual designer, prototyper, right? What are these? Okay, I'm doing this follow me home. This is a real picture. This is Mountain View with data synthesis. So user research, we could have done ourselves as a designers, done a user testing and everything. It's good to have a different person with a background from psychology or cognitive science to actually go and talk to and probe to people and get data to you, because you might get biased with your own product. So if you go and try to show your own product to the customer, you might try to sell your own design, and you may not get the right inputs from yourself. So there are a group of people who will do these things. So user research, there are different methodologies. Tons of, there are PhDs in this. So we just do follow me homes here and a lot of surveys. There are like eye tracking. I don't know whether we have eye tracking. We have an eye tracking? Okay. We have a usability lab, ethnographic studies. We do contextual mostly. A/B testing, already. We are doing A/B testing. So a lot of methods. So interaction designer, who is he? What he does? So goes through a lot of skills and trainings into understanding how to create an interface. So you might have done good wow user research, everything, but if you don't know how to solve that problem properly, there's no point, right? Like Nokia doing a lot of research, but the end product, they couldn't communicate properly or build a right thing that comes into market and sells it. So you need to do right designs. So an interaction designer defines structures and behavior of interactive systems, creates a relationship between people and the products. It's an interactivity of the system itself, like how I'm designing the interface within the layouts from controls and buttons. It's not doing any visual design. It's placing all the elements using a lot of principles in the design. The kind of principles he uses: conceptual models, metaphors, constraints, affordances. So sometimes the buttons are, does it convey that it's a delete button or it's a save button? I see this in Concur as a manager, and it comes for me for an approval. A lot of managers here, managers who are getting Concur reports for approval. Trace, you are here. So the approve button is red color there, and I always get confused. Like, am I going to delete that report? I don't know who designed it. So the affordance of the button is red. It's like, what is going to delete? I could have imagined a green or blue button. Okay, like, I'm going to do it. But so we mismatch the real world with the software product, and then there is a conflict. So the semantics, affordances, metaphors, we use a lot of physical metaphors into software products. The real life experiences, how we do it in a software product. It's basically to help you to learn things faster, to relate things and remember things. Okay. And if there is a mismatch, then you have to relearn again and again things. Right. I don't know if somebody has really designed the car, the steering and the gear shift and the clutch and pedal. Was it intentional or it was a technology-based thing? It just evolved. But we all go through a training because we are using all our senses, both the legs, hands. In India, we have a lot of gear shift, stick shift cars. And then you're looking at your eyes, you're hearing the music, your both hands are here. There's too much of overload on a human body, but it just has evolved, and we adapt it. Sometimes users adapt to the design, and they learn it. But sometimes they don't. I have some example, but in interest of time, let's go ahead. So what does it do? Interaction designer creates mockups, wireframes, prototypes, flows, everything. Most of us are interaction designers. We have a lot of visual skill sets also. We can do visual design. Typically in India, everyone is like a Kapil Dev. Everyone does batting and botting. So you can do interaction design, visual design. But there are core skill sets where we align to it, but we can do other activities too. Visual design is very skill-based. Okay, it's not possible by everyone. It's need to have an inherent knack for understanding the visual aspects of it. You can refine that skill and align it more, but sometimes it needs to be the inside. No? So we use the balance of scale, texture, proportion, forms to differentiate between the objects, create different meanings out of it, connect, disconnect boxes by visually doing it. There might be interaction design. I don't have an example. Interaction design wise, they are just black and white wireframes. But if you apply visual design, it totally looks different. You can connect the areas, remove it, bring up something ahead and reset the other other elements. So visual design can play a really good role into that. We have harmony patterns here. Yes. We can leave this. Okay, thinking processes: analytical, creative, visual, and design thinking. Okay. There are a lot of thinking processes, but I want to just compare all this. Analytical: mostly all engineers do this analytical. Right? So they start with a problem, a lot of data, synthesis, narrow down, break it down, slowly come to the conclusion with all the facts and the study and the past data, all that. Like arriving at a solution in the minimum steps, analytically. We all, as an engineer, do it. I am also a mechanical engineer. When I joined IDC, Industrial Design Center, IIT Bombay, I was asked to unlearn my engineering because I was too much constrained with what is not possible. They said, like, you're too much analytical, you think too much of issues than all solutions or imagination. So I said, like, this will not happen, that will not happen. These are these issues, that issues. Like, we come across these discussions every day. People have a big list of things that cannot be done. Then what can be done? Right. because of this analytic thinking. Is nothing wrong in that? It's also required finally to narrow it down. This is what I was doing this evolution exercise here, form and geometry trying to create into a car-shaped design finally. And I had no idea whether a car can evolve out of it or not. But it's like a narrowing down, narrowing down. Before that, I went broad. I don't have that examples, but this is kind of an analytical, you can see, it's prototyping. Focus on facts, analysis, reasoning, and slowly you start eliminating the data which is not relevant. So you try to narrow down to the solution, right? Systematic rejection. Any other ideas? All a lot of engineering mindsets, technology. Okay. Now comes creative thinking. Okay, so like going totally wide, challenging the orthodox methods, a fresh perspective. Like we say, are you creative? And then there is left brain, right brain principles about creativity also. As a child, we all are born creative. Okay. Because if you talk to a child, he's very creative. He will ask very interesting questions, creative questions. And as we grow slowly, we have been put under constraints. We have been judged. We have been told this is wrong, this is not correct. Don't ask this, don't do that. And slowly we start become like lose our creativity totally. We lose our challenge to ask questions. We start accepting facts. We start trying to be within those boundaries of good solution, not too extreme solutions. So we lose the creativity. So we have to bring back that creativity if you want to do a creative thinking. That's where I have not talked at all design thinking till now. Okay, we already passed 1 hour. It should just happen to you that what is design thinking, you just know. Okay, so analytical thinking, analytical, creative, opposite little bit, lateral, vertical, objective, subjective, left, right brain, a lot of verbal, visual. So we need both, but creative thinking is very important towards the design thinking process. Okay? And then trial and error, like, okay, fail, no issues, let's fail and try it and fail it out, it's okay. So it's being creative. Okay. Visual thinking, I think it started when I was born probably. 1973. Like visual thinking has been there, which is basically a prototyping and sketching for 40 years. People are talking now in this digital age about prototyping and sketching and communicating through ideas and this thing. It's been there for a long time. Okay. There's a lot of research, and this is how people communicate even in the movie industry, right? You would write storyboards, you create ideas, you create different sets and everything, and then go and shoot. Don't start shooting first and then think about, okay, delete this and that. You create a storyline around it. Think in mental images, okay? If your ideas can't be drawn, they can't be done. This is basic principle. Okay. Everything is a picture format. Turn text into picture, visually thinking. Put that in a visual format. That's how we are talking about prototyping everywhere. Instead of tailing and debating every day, let's sketch and discuss. Okay, this is what I have in my mind. This is what is your idea. Let's see how we can gel with each other. And we do a rapid prototyping out of it. So this is how people do sketches, ideas, storylines, prototyping, visual thinking part, create it, try it, show it to customers, get feedback. Like, instead of don't debate too much what is right or wrong between people. Just whatever everyone thinks, let him draw, put that to the users, it gets the feedback. Okay, coming to design thinking finally. All right, so you got a fair idea about design field, I guess, right? Design field, entire design history, design dimensions, kind of people who work in the design, in interaction design teams, different segments. There are different design methodologies, UCD, SDLC. There are different thinking processes. There is another one, lateral thinking, creative thinking, convergent thinking, divergent thinking. There are a lot of thinking processes. You can research and so it's, as I said, like every time somebody challenges the previous thing and they come out with the new ideas, all that. The basic goal is to about do research, define problem, create solution, test with the user, and iterate out. Well, okay, now some controversies. Yeah. So we have been doing design for last 100 years, right? But so nobody was listening to it, no? So we have to repeat it again now. We have to give a new name. You have to make a excitement about it, because nobody followed it. They just missed it. In fact, design thinking, I think, started idea team in 1990s with Stanford experimentation. They were more focused on industrial products, not to software. We never heard about that. But now it's become so popular. Let's talk about it. What is design thinking? Okay, first of all, there is nothing new. Okay. So you want everyone to be designers. Okay. We are doing D4D in Intuit. Why? We want everyone to think like a designer. There is a storyline around Scott Cook, how he built the consulting firm maybe like 10 years ago. There was they did some sessions, they form a team, they create innovation catalyst. There is a course actually happening after 2 weeks. You can register. There is a mail in your inbox. You can do that. It's about this only. So I want everyone to actually think like a designer and create an ideas looking at it from a design perspective, not like just analytical approaches. Okay. So mostly, as we say, design was more towards an object or physical, tangible product. Okay. Now it is being changed towards a process. So we are thinking, we are moving from a design of a physical, tangible object to a process-driven design thinking. So we are applying design to a process, and we're calling it a design thinking. So everyone is thinking like a designer. But also it has changed a little bit. So it's become more human-centered. We were all human-centered when we did industrial design or earlier software design, user-centered design. But saying like have more emotional touch to it, like do a lot of prototyping, don't just talk, debate. And it can be applied everywhere, product, service, business. No? So it's not related just to software, but it can be applied to actually the walkaway, skywalk. So it's a fast-fail attitude, identify, build, and test with the success. So the key elements of design thinking. And then finally, spend less time in planning is like agile. Don't spend too much time in documentation and planning and what else. Just start sketching, come out with ideas, show with each other and do it. So design has gone beyond just simple craft to emphasizing on experiences and not technology. So this is Don Norman again, so I'm giving references everywhere. It has more evolved of a way of thinking, problem discovery. So one different thing about design thinking rest of as compared to the other is we are also redefining the problem here itself. It's trying to approach the problem, not the solution. Okay. Now here's another controversial statements from him. It's me with Don Norman. Some people are just using this a lot of as a marketing thing, but they are not really practicing it. But Intuit has created a very good course in D4D, which is basically design thinking, which is customized for you to easily understand and adapt to that. You should actually sign up for that. Designing for delight. It's saying that go wide to go narrow. You must have heard this word at Intuit every time. Breadth of idea. It's same actually. It's just different marketing. Okay. So interesting thing is it's all existing tools and methodology. Design thinking has not invented any new thing. It's about how do you package all these components and processes together. But the end process where you want to do a focus group, user interview, survey, it's all same. But it's about how you sequence it. Another is to get into the management, so that when I think IDEO started, they were talking to a lot of big companies It was better to actually influence the management in terms of design thinking. It's a mindset change, the entire organization. That's what we are doing at Intune. Trying to everyone get into a design mode, design thinking, easy to sketch, prototype, and then test it with the user. Another thing interesting is the bottoms-up approach. Typically, in a lot of companies, mostly in the Korean companies, it's a top-down approach. Right? Somebody decides, and even Apple for the Steve Jobs, it was a top-down, right? Somebody with the top thought, and then everyone just executed. Here we are saying that everyone is like Steve Jobs. Everyone learns like a designer. Everyone experiments as a designer. And let's all go and push these ideas on the top. So both ways. Top management. Okay. Less time in planning, we talked about it. So it challenges us to see through the customer's eyes, like connect emotionally, experiencing him, and then almost like you also have a chief innovation position now. Many companies started to have these titles now. Okay, just comparison. So industrial design, research, problem, ideation, prototype test, user-centered design, research, prototype test. There is a business-centered design. I used to talk on this when I worked in Naukri.com. It's more of a persuasive architecture where we are doing a cross-selling and upselling of a product. So usability is satisfied. The website looks good. It is easy to use. What next? Can I sell more products? So Flipkart's showing up more ads, recommendation systems, user reviews. So a lot of network effect concepts there. So you don't want to have just a usable system, but you want to do beyond that. You want to earn more money out of it. So it's a business-centered design. So all these systems are more towards user, but here is a business also coming in between. Like, okay, I want to have this sales to grow up for this kind of articles. So how do you design for that? There is emotional design, participle. A lot of design theories are there. We talked about a little bit on emotional design connection. Design thinking, if we break down, we have this empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. We have these posters everywhere. Has anyone seen that? Yeah, directly in front of the lift bottle. Okay. Yeah, we were thinking about putting it somewhere else, but our facilitator said, you can't put it anywhere. The only possible way is near the lift. I said, my God, it's going to be day in and out when you press the button. So it's good. We can have a test later. So design thinking breaks down the similar sections into empathize with the user, then define, ideate. It's more, earlier the design was more towards the product. It's now towards the process and more of a strategic level and end to end. Okay. Right, so empathize. So this is another follow me homes I did. It's more about feelings and emotions. So earlier user study in user-centered design, we were just asking users what they are doing, getting a list and just noting it down. Okay, we were observing them also and saying and noting it down. But here we are talking about like connect with them more emotionally. Imagine yourself as if you are that user and you're going through that pain day in and out. Is copy pasting from Excel sheet into QuickBooks. Okay, maybe there is, you need to design it differently. This is a pain. There, you need to have shortcuts there. So you try to imagine as a user have more empathy towards him. So the methods you use, so how do you do that? Is to do a lot of research activities. You can do personas, contextual inquiry, insights and maps and all those things. So you can define the empathies for that. Kind of questions you ask, who are the users, do they care? What do they do and actually do? The difference. And finally, how do I empathize with the user? Right now, so design thinking, as compared to the previous all thinking methods, is trying to connect more emotionally, personally to the user and trying to see not only what he is doing today, but who are his friends, families, what is his day in a life, what is he doing, what other tools he is using. So he's going beyond the normal requirements. So there are a lot of empathy diagrams. We have one in the D4D also. It's like a similar. So you write it down, what they say, what they think, what they do, what they feel when they're doing it. You create all these diagrams and you can create an empathy map about what exactly user is feeling of our product. So there are different methods and techniques. It's okay to use any. So we have defined some of the user personas from Lesser. Okay, we have many, I think, in CTG also. I'm yet to see more into SBG. We have more segments in SBG. Did anybody saw in SBG this kind of personas? I'm here for 4 months, so maybe I'm missing something. Tracy, do you have?
They used to have personas, but I think they've shifted.
They shifted, yeah.
On that to the segments, yeah.
Tracy is here for almost 18 years in Indeed. Okay. She is visiting us.
You didn't need to tell everybody.
I mean, you know all the history. Yeah.
Makes me sound old.
Okay. So, I mean, it's okay for anything. Either way of doing things. The goal is to actually understand the users, basically. Right. But our other team members in other views are documenting in this way. Okay, defining a problem is really a big task. So in earlier use cases, we used to just assume that problem is there and start solving for that. In the design thinking, they are saying that, okay, go and challenge the question itself. Is it right? Like a lot of times, we start a problem, try to solve a problem, and then realize the problem itself is wrong. We are solving for a wrong thing. It's like I give normally this patient-doctor analogy. Like you go, all the patient goes to a doctor and tell like my stomach is paining. The doctor does not give a painkiller or something for stomach. And he need to understand exactly why it is causing. Problem is somewhere else, and he has to hit that problem. And he has to define that problem, why it is being created. So as we go through this journey of defining the design thinking process, we need to understand exactly what problems we are going to solve. Probably we can question the problem statement itself and redefine the problem statement. You must have seen this in many emails for the last 10 years. Like how the information gets changed and the definition changes basically, the communication changes. And as I said, like child will ask you all kinds of questions without fear. We should do the similar way. We should all ask all the edge cases and questions and whatever we feel in between for the users when you talk to them, or even this or the entire team when we are defining the problem statement. So build user stories, frame opportunities, create a point of view, define the scope again, and then the problem. What do they want? What can be built? How do I interpret it? Coming to ideate, you must have seen the 6-dot exercise, right? Edward D. Mono again. Ideation is finally a very important phase in the entire design thinking. You might have done very good research, very good definition of problem, but if you have no creativity to create a fantastic solution, you will fail. Right? So why Apple and Samsung and other products are different, right? They are having a different. They must be done the same user study, right? The Samsung phone guys and Apple phone guys are doing the same user study. User segment is same, but they are creating different solutions for that. There lies the creativity, breaking it out, going wild, creating innovative solutions that can break the competition. Okay, that's what we need here. Is to actually this is very important phase within the design thinking, and this is very skill based. Maybe not all people can think that, but there are a lot of tools to actually learn creativity, innovation, how to do it. Typically 6 dots, you have to join with the straight lines. We think within this border, and then you cannot do it. So you have to go beyond that. This is how you join it. Because we have to break out of the mental block of the innovation, creativity, and then we can ideate better than the others. Here's the question. A good, chocolate. How can you stop a fight between a cat and dog?
Bring a mouse in.
Bring a mouse in between. But they will again fight for more actually, because they are now have a motive to fight between each other. I'm saying, make them away.
Get another dog and the dog will fight.
What? Get another dog and dog. This is a classic question. The Edward D. Bono, psychologist, he has come out with all the lateral thinking books. And he has another book like Children Solve Problem, and he has posed these questions to children actually, how children think creatively. And they have given some solutions about. There are multiple solutions, there is no one solution. I'm saying like some interesting solution. How can you stop cat and dog?
Huh?
Okay, good chocolate. This is one of the solution from the child. Did you read the book? No, right? No cheating, right? So the solution, one of the interesting solution was to dress them opposite. So the cat thing, other person is a cat, and the dog thing, he's a dog. So both are friends anyway. They have no idea. So the children said that make the zebra crossing and those polka things like a Dalmatian dog, and they might get confused with each other, and then they will be friends actually. They look same, right? So just creativity. It's nothing science there. It's like thinking in a different way. So there's another examples like and how that is been applied into physical world. So put some lot of weights, stay them away, constraints. This is how we create in when we cross countries, right? We create this constraint of visas and KYCs and all those things. Like we create some resistance to do these things, so they might reduce this, or make them very happy within their own thing. They have no reason to fight. They're all satisfied and happy in their own areas. So there are like tons of examples like this. The children are given how to stop. Or there is another example like how do you weigh an elephant? How do you weigh an elephant, big elephant? There is no chocolate for this. So some children say, okay, take him to a tank, the water will come out, and then weigh it. No, something like that. So different ways of weighing an elephant. So generate ideas, brainstorm. Do not limit with technology or current states. Okay? Do not judge or debate each other. Okay? At the time of creative brainstorming, let be wild ideas. We can scrap it later, but let it collect. Co-create with diverse teams. So like we have a diverse team member, so everyone has a different thinking model. Right? So wide should go wild and wide both. And what do I create from it? Right. Coming to prototyping. Okay, I was not here, but I was here. I was here and here. So prototyping has been done for long ages. We talk about temple, and I talked about this Moses movie, Ten Commandments, and I've been doing prototyping at industrial design, sketching, and some of the sketches these are my hand-drawn sketches. I have a lot of these sketches. The idea is to communicate faster, sketch, because when you are going to do on a computer, you have to learn the tool first and then communicate that. So here you can sketch it. So prototyping is another key element in design thinking. So design thinking can be applied for softwares and non-software also. So you can create a prototype using any kind of material also. What was his name? So in the directors meets in US. So you have this Tom Chi. Yeah, you are here. Good. Tom Chi talked about the Google Glass, how they started experimenting with some thermocol or some kind of strips and some glass. Like it's a crude, just prototype. But to do it in a day or two, to see how it works or not. So get a initial idea on feasibility of the direction, whether we are going in a right or wrong. Is it doable or is it not going to be done? So do prototype, wireframe scale models. This is the whole idea of doing a lot of prototyping. And it's been there for ages. Humans have been doing it in different ways, doing ship prototypes, temples. But in software, we are not doing it. We debate, we directly write a code, then we show it to the customer, and then we have issues. So in prototypes, we have low fidelity. You can do sketches like this, what I showed here. Some examples from my team members here. It can be tested quickly. It may not be very perfect. But you can do a high fidelity prototype where you want to actually give a real life experience to a customer and test it. It's not a code. So we do it in Azure or visual design. So this is schedule report from Bala, another from this is for carousel we are doing in SBGs. So it's like almost like a final report, final design. It's a visual components are embedded, so the user can get an actual feeling, and you can do a user testing. We have been doing a lot of user testings with the customers. Angela, you also joined, I think, a couple of tests. Right. So prototyping is key. You can do in a high or low, but test and get a feedback from the customer. So empathize, design, then ideate, prototype, then we're going to evaluate it. Showing is always better than explaining, so it's difficult to explain. Just sketch it and show it. Not just one, make more crafts. As I said, craft means it can have multiple forms. It can have a physical form also. You can have a thermocol cardboard. If you're doing mobile apps, do it in a cardboard with the slides, all those things. combine, create multiple ideas, fail fast, so do prototyping. First question, did the user understood? Was he able to interact with the product? Evaluate, okay? We have been evaluating all products for many years. Like I have a short movie also here. Validate your concepts. It is very important to evaluate whether it's going to work or not with the users. Testing, don't judge. Think aloud protocol is something where we ask the user to actually think aloud when he's using our product. Like he say, oh my God, where is this button? I can't find it. So he has to think, what is he doing? Oh, I can't find this navigation. Where do I check out? All those things. Then you can make notes. There are a lot of methods to evaluate: walkthrough, shadowing, diaries, usability tests. Ask them to use types. Test with real users. So in evaluation, you can do with your team or actually your real users is always best. Getting to a real user. But if you don't get it, you can have the similar segment of users. Listening is another key thing within Intuit and also within design thinking. Okay? So you want to listen and understand what the customer is saying and not to interrupt too much. Let him complete the task. Okay. What did not work and how do I evolve? So prototyping has been there. Okay, so has anybody seen this clipping? This movie is one of my favorite when I was a child. I also have it. Those magnificent men in the flying machines. Those magnificent men in their flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the up. They trap all the ladies and steal all the scene with their up to the up, and then down to the up. Up, down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the crowd. They're all kinds of weird ideas. They can fly upside down with their feet in the air. They don't think of danger, they really don't care. Newton was thinking he had made a mistake. To see that's what my daughter does every day. She thinks she can fly. Those magnificent men in their flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They enchant all the ladies and steal all the scene with their up to the up, and their down to the down. Up, down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the crowd. They're all frightfully keen, those magnificent men in their flying machine. Those magnificent men in their flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. Those magnificent men, those magnificent men, those magnificent men in their flying machine. Yeah, so we have been doing a lot of evaluation and testing, but we are not doing so much in software. All right. So we are almost to the end. Okay. So we're still refining all this. So segmentations and all those things. All right. Any questions? We are going to do deep sessions into design thinking segments where we want people to try it out, role play as a customers, create some hand sketches, prototype out of it, and have fun being creative. We'll plan it later. This was just an introduction talk about what basic design is first, design disciplines. There are a lot of design processes, methodologies. Okay. There are a lot of thinking processes, and design thinking is one of that, and we have derived D4D from that, design for delight. It all aligns to this thing. This was just a overall knowledge sharing. Any questions? Anyone wants to join our team? Creative team, right? No. Like typically designer people think like they have a pony and then today I was thinking like should I wear a kurta and some different dress like a designer should be designers are normal. Normal people. But you must have seen like you need to create a visual personality like you see all godmans and all those things like they have this all structure around it. They personify as a different human being than the others. It's an outfit. But designers are designers. They can be anything. Any question? Interesting?
Yep.
Yeah. No? Right. Looks like you're doing happy. All right. Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time.